Hi and welcome to another episode. What we're on now is part 3 of fixing the Spectrum Plus 2, the grey version. You've seen me do a few things so far. You're going to see me do a few things coming up, but there's parts of where I seem to have forgotten to take off the mute or even press record. So sorry about that, but really by now you should have come across, you've desoldered and you've soldered things. So really all I'm doing is pointing to you what has to be done. You don't need to see me doing it. I'm sorry that I've missed the parts out, so let's get on with it though. As you can see, I've bent this out of the way very gently. A little bit's bent out, and this just wants to spring up by itself. And we can pull that out of the way, and you can see maybe the creamy mesh that's on the side of there. Now let's clean down this Amstrad chip, put on some more thermal glue, and we'll do it that way. To help spread the paste around, you can use one of the plastic bags you got from the recap kit and just move it around. Should be fine for there. And then smooth it out on this bit as well. I think that's probably good enough because it will spludge together anyway. You're just trying to get some to rest in. So we'll wait 10 seconds. You do it, I'll just skip to it. Okay, so there's the 10 seconds done. I'll rest this in here. Oh, why did that go in so easily before and not now? Is it the other way around? No. I didn't move the other side. Oh, there we go. Push it down at an angle. And then holding it in place, bring up this tab ever so carefully because it is only a thin bit of aluminium. It's good enough. Yep. So that can cure for the next 24 hours. But the next bit we need to get onto is flipping the transistors. So I'm going to do that. Okay, as I've already mentioned, TR4, TR5 and TR8 all need to be swapped around. So you need to desolder. Don't just do the outer legs and spin it. Don't do all 3 legs, desolder it, put it. Also test them if you can. You might have to get new ones. But anyway, they've all been swapped around, and now because of Retro Computer Shack, they recommend in their manual for the cable that if you know how to solder, that you play around a bit more and you switch LK4 for LK2, and then where is it? R9, which is actually empty there, that line there, put in there a 470 ohm resistor. So I'm going to mess around and do that now. Okay, so I've moved the wire from LK4 to LK2, added the 470 ohm resistor, and I do get a picture on my TV, but it's hugely ghosted. That's probably down to my TV more than the mod or the cable. It's just one of those things. Not all LCD TVs like RGB stuff from this sort of era. So I'm happy enough though that it works in my OS SE perfectly fine. The one thing I'm going to do now is clean the back of the board, and then I'm going to move on to doing the cassette deck. Now the PCB has some caps that need replacing, so we need to mess around and do those. And as you can see from the elastic bands, they're a bit slack. Things probably could do with a bit of a grease up and a good old clean round as whole. So what I'm going to do is mess around and remove all of this because I haven't got space to show you all of the top part of the case, but I will go off and wash that as well. But I'll do that off camera because we've all seen bits of plastic getting a good bath. Right, let's get on. As you can see, I've already removed 3 screws, but there's one hiding all the way down in here for the main mechanism. So I'll just lift that one out of the way and try to keep your screws separated so you know what goes where for later on. So I'll carry on removing all of these. Now that I've taken those 4 screws out from there, the one they're hiding down there, and that one, and obviously the ones from the PCB, I should be able to just lift up now. He says, hopefully. Oh yes, I seem to remember this, is that you have to actually get it to pop. There we go. Now I should be able to take it off and then carefully lay it over. Ugh. That has seen a lot of yucky use. Right, I mean, look how dirty that is. Ooh, look how that is. That's just horrible. Right, then we have to unscrew the LED, and then that's it. This whole mechanism can come away now. Carefully. Okay, so that's that removed. Let's zoom on in. That is just disgusting. I don't think I've seen one on... Where were they keeping this thing? I'm going to guess they had a pet. Or they never hoovered the house. I don't know, but yeah. Right, so let's get on with cleaning it. So, Eprom. Always a good place to start. Get a little bath of it there. And then lots and lots and lots of Q-tips. And let's just start cleaning around. I mean, look, yeah. Okay, I shall do this off screen. I'm sure you don't want to see me clean every single bit of it. Oh, while I remember, the one thing you don't want to do, you see these rubber bits here? Basically anywhere there's a bit of rubber, you don't want to be banging into it. And on the heads, be careful with them as well. They need a clean, but be careful, don't put any real force on them. But this roller wheel, don't get any isopropyl in there because it will actually start to dissolve it over time. Okay, so I've cleaned it down a fair bit, still got a bit to go, but I've decided I want to take the keys off, and to do that you have to take off this thing, a C-clamp, which is just on the end. Now be very, very careful, don't use anything too sharp because you're not going to want to stab yourself in the hand, because you need to sort of hold it like that, if you're right-handed at least. Hold it like that, and then you need something to pry the C-clamp apart. But the problem is that if you do it without something in the way, it's got a good chance of going pting, and you spend the next 3.5 days trying to find the thing. It took me 10 minutes to find it, but you get the idea. So I recommend that you have like a bit of kitchen paper or something in between your hand, just here, just to stop it from flying off everywhere. One of those things of wish I did it in the first place. But now that I've done that, though, got the C-clamp off, let me push it down. Come on. There we go. Push this bar out of the way. There we go. And these keys come off now, and they can go for a bit of a wash as well, while I have a clean down here. Okay, that's the keycaps having a bath. As you can see, I've also taken off the rubber rings. Let's get on with putting them on. Where have I put them now? Here we are. I get these ones. So we need the smaller one first. So which one's the smaller one? Oh, it's a bit obvious. So this one has to go over the top of here and then around that one without lugging it on so that it's twisted. Now I just want to point out to you that between the big flywheel, the big metal bit, the flywheel, there's this plastic bit down here. You can see there's just enough room for the rubber band to go past there because it has to, so make sure it does. I probably won't get it first go, but there we go. See, it's not going past. Let's try not stretching all these wires as well. There we go. Holding it up, pushing it round makes it go past. And then I need to stretch that over that wheel. I want to make sure it's not twisted, because that makes it even tighter. I want to try to get it to lay flat if possible. And then we need the larger one to go around the black wheel and up over this white one. Again, doing it so it's not twisted, which is the fiddliest bit, really. There we go. You can see I'm moving the big wheel. This one's, if I move this little one around, the other two move. So that's the elastic bands done. Maybe the other ones didn't mean to put, well, yeah, you can see actually shape of that one, it's pulled to one side, so that's not good. Anyway, so that's the elastic bands. Let's move on to replacing the caps. So looking at the instructions again for the capacitors, we've got them sometimes soldered to the back. Yeah. Okay. And then we've also got a little map of where things are. So there seems to be more than what there is, because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have lots of caps here. I'm not too sure, so we'll line them up and make sure where they all go. Okay, I've found the full caps that I needed. There's a little map given with the recap kit. That's my particular one. Yours might be that particular one, but that's the one that I've got. And I'm going to desolder the different caps and then solder in the new ones. That's the caps removed. So put this in here, 100 microfarads, and this particular one at C315, and I'll get on with soldering the other 3 in as well. Oh, that's the caps back on. You can just see that I've been using a bit of tape to hold them in place while I put them on. They seem to be good enough. Yep, they're all in place. So all I'm going to do now is clean off the back of the board and get ready to put everything back in the case. Okay, as you can see, I've taken the keys apart. Here's the bit that goes inside, but basically I want to point out that there is like a broken bit there. It's not enough to like snap all the way down, but it's enough that the plastic has been snapped. There's like my nail gets caught in the plastic, so I'm going to rest that in place and put a line of super glue on there to hopefully hold that into place. And also I want to point out it's quite common, it seems, for the standoffs that are on here and in the case to be snap off, so be careful of those, either the ones that are from the keyboard onto the top part of the case, or the standoffs that actually come all the way through the case from the bottom to the top. So be careful with them and super glue them back in place. So I'll get on with doing this and then you'll magically see it all back together again. Okay, you can see that I've screwed it all back together again. I'm not using the original power supply unit. For some reason it's pushing out 15 volts. I understand that's not under load, but even so, it seems rather high, and I'd just rather have something that's pushing out 9 volts that helps keep it all cool. It's not having to work so hard to downscale it to 9 volts. So I've got a power supply unit that's 9 volts, 3 amps, which is way and above what this actually does. I think this is 2.1 amps. But anyway, it's got a cable on it that turns it from positive center to negative center, and they're possibly found on eBay, which is where I bought mine. I'll put a link in the description. I'm not affiliated with the seller or anything like that, but they don't say it works with the plus 2, but it does. But anyway, let's move across to the smaller screen. So as you can see, we've got a nice steady picture, no real ghostings, a little bit of gel barring, but yeah, I've not really seen any tricks to get rid of that in the plus 2. But let's make sure the tape's rewound. It is. Get it to load. There we go. Tape was just a bit jammed from me rewinding a bit too hard. There we go. It should be picking it up. There, it's found the brown bit of tape. Just testing to see if it gets the first bit. So obviously it's loading a game called Quarks off of this cover tape from your Sinclair from yesteryear. I'm not going to load the whole game, I just want to see if it actually does pick it up and get going. It seems to be fine though. Yeah, from my huge experience of loading Spectrum games, yeah, those colours are fine. This colour is unusual because it's got a fast loader put in. But anyway, it's working fine, I would say. So I'll leave that going off in the background. So that's been an experience, messing around, loading things up. Yeah, it's just quite amazing to me that I've managed to actually fix this. A few of the memory chips didn't need replacing more than I thought they might have done. And yes, I messed up and ended up changing a memory chip that I didn't need to do. What else did we do? We changed lots of things in here. Just go back and watch episode 1 and episode 2. I'll put links in the description for there, and I'll put some cue cards here, here for them to be done. I'm really happy I've got this going, because now this means I can test the interface gadgets that I bought many years ago. I've also bought the stereo mod to be done in this. I'm waiting for that to be delivered, so there will be a part 4. And I'd kind of like to clean up this a little bit for the legends for the keys and the silvery bit on here. I don't know if I'm going to do a fantastic job of that, but I'm going to give it a go and we'll see how it goes. If it turns out rubbish, it turns out rubbish, but at least then you'll learn from me not to do it that way, maybe. But anyway, I think this has been fun. I hope that you've learned a fair bit from me. A big shout out to Jan Beta and especially Retrotech Ralph for pointing me in the right direction for doing all of this. I can't really say much more than that, but as always, happy gaming.